Update. Would I be the a-hole for making my roommate pay to replace my panties? Original post. Earlier this year, one of my friends, 29, we'll call him Taylor, moved in with my boyfriend, 25, we'll call him Charlie, and me, 23. Taylor and I worked together and became really close friends. I introduced him to my boyfriend, and now the three of us are friends. However, Taylor is better friends with me than he is with Charlie. It's because Taylor and I have bonded over similar traumatic experiences. The other day, Charlie and I left for a little weekend trip. Taylor agreed to take care of our dog while we were away, which we were happy about. Charlie and I have a security camera in our bedroom. This camera is aimed at the bedroom door and bathroom door. We have a bathroom attached to our room. Minutes after we left, we got a notification that there was motion in our room. We checked the cameras and saw Taylor just standing in our room. Over the next 30 minutes, he went in and out of our room about 7 times. It's important to note that up until this point we have sincerely valued privacy. We never go in his room unless he states it's okay, and vice versa. So we were surprised to see him just walking in on his own. The 8th time he went into our room, we saw him go over to my dresser and dig through my panty drawer. He picked out a pair of panties, pulled down his boxers and pants, put my panties on, and then put his boxers and pants back on over it. A few minutes later he returned wearing one of my tank tops. When he noticed the camera, he slowly backed out of the room. But then he returned later and continued digging through my panty drawer. He returned multiple times later to dig through my panties. All of this is recorded and saved on video. Seeing how he invaded our privacy and wore my underwear made me feel sick and needs to be addressed. We don't want to make Taylor feel ashamed for cross-dressing, but what he did with my clothing was disgusting. I know as soon as we get back home I'm going to throw away all my underwear and Charlie is going to install a deadbolt on our bedroom door. We don't feel comfortable confronting him about it until we return home and are able to deadbolt our door. Would I be the a-hole if I made him pay to replace all my underwear and pay for the hardware for our bedroom deadbolt? The only reason I need those things now is because he invaded my privacy. Not the a-hole. What the hell? It's not that he wears women's clothes, it's that he invaded your room and wore yours. Yes, he should replace your clothes. Then he needs a new place to live. Even if he likes cross-dressing, it's very unhygienic for both him and OP. It would have been easier for him to buy a fresh pair. Not the a-hole. And with online shopping, it's not like anyone would even need to know he ordered women's clothes, let alone underwear. This is just gross all around. Not the a-hole. Cross-dressing is one thing, raiding your panty drawer and invading your privacy is another. When you talk to him, make sure to lead with that you support people of that lifestyle, and if that's what he was doing, then he needs to buy his own clothes for it. I'd make him pay for the panties, deadbolt, and tell him that he's out when the lease is up. I wouldn't stand for that level of disrespect. It has nothing to do with his identity, only the invasion. I don't know if we can assume he was just trying out cross-dressing. It's not like he was wearing outwardly feminine clothing, he wore underwear, something only he can see and feel. It becomes 1,000 times more personal. To me this sounds like a fetish of some kind considering he is a fully functional adult who can buy underwear at a store, and yet he purposefully chose to wear someone else's intimate garments for a thrill. Update. Thank you for all the advice and support. You guys really helped me make an informed decision. I left out some details intentionally because thinking about it and making it public was just too disturbing, and I was in denial. Taylor also went in my nightstand to look at and handle my adult toys, and he dug through my hamper to presumably look for used underwear. Now onto the update. Taylor denied everything. Despite the fact that we had it all on video, he tried to make up different reasons why he was in there, tried to downplay it, said he only came in to look around, and then said he doesn't remember ever entering our room. We told him he could either move out, go to therapy, or we could move out and he would have to find new roommates. He basically told us no. He said we had no authority to kick him out and that blackmailing him with the videos was illegal. Unfortunately, he was on our lease, so there wasn't much we could do without taking legal action. So we got to work. We started looking for a new place to live, started looking for a lawyer, filed a police report, and made plans to file for a restraining order. But every single day I was constantly anxious at work and fearful in my own home because it was clear that he had absolutely no remorse. After about a week with no sleep and constant fear, I finally spoke to my boss about the situation. My concerns were taken seriously and they immediately began taking steps to help me. I showed them the videos and they agreed that his actions were completely unacceptable and, due to the nature of our work, he is considered a liability and a danger to other employees. They made sure I was in a safe place before they suspended him while they investigated him. During his suspension, I met with my bosses and they continue to support me and ensure my safety. They also made plans to terminate him as he also had multiple negative performance reports. So this whole deal was the nail in his coffin. However, Taylor quit before they had the chance to fire him. The day after he quit, he got all his crap out of the apartment and signed documents removing himself from the lease. He has not attempted to contact me since. This whole situation has been extremely emotionally draining. It has caused a lot of painful memories and emotions to resurface. Looking back on our friendship now, I can recall multiple red flags in which he crossed clear personal boundaries I set. I can't believe he was ever someone I trusted and loved like a big brother. But for now, he is out of our lives, and I am relieved. I'm still living with my parents, but I plan on moving back as soon as the apartment locks get changed. That's all I've got for now. Some people are unbelievable. How he denied everything when you had it on video, it would be hilarious if it wasn't so disturbing. So, sorry, you had to go through this, OP. Sending you lots of love. Hope you and your boyfriend can move back into your home soon. I like how he said she was blackmailing him and that was illegal. It's not blackmail, it's evidence. It would have been blackmail had OP threatened Taylor, say, for embarrassing photos. Making reference to legal action like eviction, etc. isn't blackmail. I remember reading the original post and being concerned for your safety, the safety of your boyfriend and the safety of your animals. You handled a difficult situation like a boss. Hoping you can put it all past you, I cannot fathom going through that. It's been difficult coming to terms with everything, but I have no regrets for how I handled things. For once in his life, Taylor actually experienced consequences for his actions. Thank you for the update. I'm glad everything worked out, but lem just say, the fact that you had him on video doing those things and yet he still tried to deny them, I'm floored. His behavior is very unnerving and I'm glad you considered a restraining order, better safe than sorry. Update. Am I the a-hole for not letting my friend live in my spare room? Original post. So, I have this friend Bill and we've been friends since we were kids and we are now both 30. He's one of my closest friends and we normally have a great relationship. When I was 19, I moved away from our hometown, went to university, did some traveling, and have now settled in a town several hours away. I have a good job, great friends, I'm pretty settled. 2 years ago my great uncle died and left me some money and since then I've been saving as much as possible and I now have enough for a house deposit, which I'm pretty thrilled about. I've started looking for places and I'm hoping to buy a 2-bed flat in the town I live in. Bill has not done so great. He still lives with his parents in our hometown and has worked in the same supermarket for years. I have no issue with this, but sadly Bill is miserable because he hates his job, hates living with his parents, and is generally unhappy. For several years I tried to encourage Bill to move out and I offered him to move in with me, rent-free, for a couple of months so he could get himself together. Bill always declined and I probably stopped mentioning it about 3-4 years ago. So, the situation. Bill knew I'd been left this money by my uncle, but a week ago we were chatting on the phone and I was telling him about viewing a flat soon. Bill straight up asked me if he could live in my spare room whenever I purchased my place. We haven't talked about it in so long, so I basically said I would think about it and let him know. Bill seemed pretty unhappy by this. I think he was expecting me to not hesitate, but said he hoped I made up my mind soon. A few days ago, I called Bill back and said unfortunately I don't think it'd be a good idea and he was so angry but also sad, it was horrible. The conversation was pretty long, but he basically accused me of lying to him when I offered he could live me and said I was a terribly unsupportive friend etc. The thing is, I was like 24-26 when I offered Bill my sofa, but life is different now. I have a girlfriend, a goddaughter who I want to sleep over lots, and now I'm a bit older I just don't want to share my living space. Also, I hadn't said anything to Bill about living together in years and he'd never mentioned it. I feel really bad about this situation, and when I spoke to a mutual friend, she just said it would be nice for me to let Bill stay with me for a bit, but otherwise didn't want to get involved in the argument. I feel like such an arse, but am I the a-hole? Of course you're not the a-hole. People on Reddit are going to tell you he's entitled and you should drop him, etc. But my view of truth is, it sounded like he just banked the idea that he'd always have the option of living with you if things got really bleak. They likely are, but life has also moved on, so you're not in the position to make the same offer. There is no problem in that. Friendships lie and grow in these difficult situations. He probably can't see beyond his pain and frustration at the world right now. However, I'd recommend you let him know you're always going to be his friend, and hopefully, once he's in a place to see beyond the hurt, you can pick up your friendship. Hey, thanks for this. I think you've really hit the nail on the head here. He probably has always banked on it, so that's why he's mad. He's actually a wonderful guy, and it makes me so sad that he feels so stuck in his situation, but I just can't be the one to pull him out anymore. Maybe with a bit of time it might be okay, because I just hate the idea that this could be friendship ending cause I love this boy and I know it's mutual. No a-holes here, but these are the times I hate the sub because the bar is so low. No, you aren't an a-hole, but you have the opportunity to change a close friend's life. None of those are good reasons why you can't, they are reasons why you don't want to. You should do better than not being an a-hole and be a really good human and let him come live with you. Thanks for your reply. None of those are good reasons why you can't, they are reasons why you don't want to. That's really accurate, I think, and has definitely given me something to think about. I don't want to live with you is a valid reason. It doesn't matter if they can or can't make space for him. If you don't want to live with him, don't live with him. It's not your job to push your own wants and desires aside to accommodate someone who has willfully chosen to not improve their lot in life. Offers like that are not indefinite. People's life situations change. The fact that Bill has chosen to remain stagnant for years doesn't mean that the world stops turning. Definitely still offer him reasonable support and help, maybe offer to help him look for new living arrangements, or if he's hard up for money maybe see, only if you're genuinely comfortable with it, if you can float him a few dollars to help him land on his feet. But absolutely do not feel like you ought to feel bad for not letting him stay with you when he declined your offer for years. Update. I wasn't sure whether to post an update, but actually this sub really helped me. However, judging by the responses I got, I'm not sure whether anyone will like what happened. I first had a conversation with my girlfriend, we've only been together a year, and I'm buying the flat completely on my own, but there was certainly a suggestion that she might move in with me depending on how things go in the next few months or so. She was, and generally is, pretty wonderful, and she's also met Bill and knows what he means to me. She said if I wanted to offer him my spare room for a few months then I should go for it. Then Bill. I won't go into too much detail, but I laid it all out for him. I basically said that I didn't want a roommate and that now that I was in a relationship, my privacy was even more important to me. I said that it was important Daisy, my goddaughter, also felt at home in my place, so the spare room was basically going to be hers. I then said that he was one of my closest friends and I'd do anything for him if I could. I said that he could move in with me, rent-free, for 3 months, providing he got a job and saved up some money to rent a room somewhere after. We ironed out a few more details, but that was the general gist. It was really emotional, Bill kept apologizing, and we both cried, but it was a good conversation. The reason why I wanted to update is because I saw this comment, which was downvoted. No a-holes here, but these are the times I hate the sub because the bar is so low. No, you aren't an a-hole, but you have the opportunity to change a close friend's life. None of those are good reasons why you can't, they are reasons why you don't want to. You should do better than not being an a-hole and be a really good human and let him come live with you. I really appreciated all the responses to my post, but they did initially make me righteously angry, if that makes sense. Through my not the a-hole validation, I was kind of getting annoyed at Bill, thinking, what right did he have to my home, and how dare he be mad about an offer I made 4 years ago? And then I read the above comment and suddenly thought, yeah, he's got no right to be mad at me, but if he really is one of my best friends, then surely I should help him if I can. And the fact is, I totally can. So, there you go, Bill will be moving into my new place, and in the meantime I'm gonna help him rewrite his CV so he can start to look for jobs in my town. Maybe this is a bad decision, and this sub has certainly made me realize I don't owe him anything, but it still feels like the right thing to do. I love that one comment totally changed your mindset and led to you helping out your friend. Not because you owe it to him, or you'd be an a-hole if you didn't, but because you want to help him out. I love this update. Sometimes this sub confuses being in the right to not being an a-hole. They are in fact different things. I'm glad you and Bill were able to work it out. Best of luck to both of you. My best friend helped me start my life over by giving me space in her home with her husband and 2 little boys, whom I love. That 6 months of generosity changed everything for me. Sure, there were moments when I felt pathetic and raw and embarrassed to accept their charity. I cooked and cleaned for them as much as I could, which wasn't an amazing amount. I left when we agreed I should, well, 1 month later because of COVID, but now I have a full-time job that I love, and I just today got approved to rent an entire house all to myself. I'll have an extra room and a big yard for a rescue dog. I might even be able to realize my dream of fostering a child, maybe even adoption. She didn't have to help me, neither she nor her husband owed me anything, but they had the resources and they knew I wouldn't take advantage of them, but I would take advantage of the opportunity. Now they're proud of me, and I am too. And now I have even more reason to keep pushing. I never want to disappoint them.